I'm here to teach all of you a little bit about what neurobiology is, just a general introduction to what neurons are. So neurons are basically pretty complex structures. They're like many other types of cells. They have a nucleus, but they also transmit electrical signals to other neurons. So a neuron has the cell body, also known as the soma, dendrites, which I'll explain a little bit about later. It has an axon, and it has the axon terminals. So, what is the nucleus of a neuron? Well, the neuron has, well, like other types of cells, has a nucleus. Next are dendrites. So dendrites basically receive electrical impulses from the axon terminals, and it sends these signals from other neurons to the main cell body or soma of the nucleus. One of the most important parts of the neuron is the axon. It transfers the electrical impulses from the soma to the axon terminals, so that the axon terminals can send on the ions to a different neuron. It basically uses the positive and negative charges of ions to move it across the structure. Okay, so myelin sheaths insulate the axon from the rest of the brain. So this actually helps the ions move across the axon faster than it would normally, and prevents crosstalk between different neurons. So scientists gave a fancy name to the gaps between myelin sheaths. It's known as the node of Ranvier. So between these layers of myelin, there are openings to allow waste to come out of the axon, and it also lets nutrients into the neuron. By having these small breaks between the myelin sheaths, it also makes the process more efficient and fast. The axon terminal is the final part of the neuron, where all of the ions end up at the end before moving on to the next neuron. So once the ions reach the axon terminal, they're packaged in a way where they can be sent off into the gaps between neurons, where they'll then be received by dendrites. So does anybody have any questions? So now I have a worksheet to distribute to see how much just basic information everybody remembers about.
You're on your way to being a real teacher already.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the packet so far?
No.
I think one misconception that wasn't really addressed properly in the packet, or I haven't addressed it yet, is that many people assume that neurons work kind of like how electrical wires work, where you have electricity passing from one end to the other.
They don't actually
at light
touch.
speeds. But in actuality, ions move. It's actually sodium ions that are positively charged instead of it's pure electricity. So I'd like to kind of end this lesson off on this note. I'd like to thank you all for being here and supporting me, taking your time to kind of listen to my discussion.
We'd like to thank you for being awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, quite a beneficial teacher.
I hope that some of you learned something. Neurobiology is such a wide field that with a broad range of things to study that it's really not possible to cover everything in just one short class. So I'd like to encourage all of you to maybe take some time this afternoon to maybe look something up, something that might interest you, maybe different types of neurons without axons, things like that. And once again, I'd like to thank all of you.